Good morning. I've tried to call you during the class, so I'll just go ahead and start, and then you will find the recordings so that you can go through the recordings on your own time or at your own time. But remember, tomorrow we have a class. We have a common class with the CJMS class, so make sure that you attend the class on HIV and AIDS. Because you might find yourself you're the only one that is not attending the class. And remember, attending classes, it's mandatory, because if you will not attempt to attend 75% of all the classes that we'll have for this semester, you'll have to repeat the whole unit next semester. So make sure that you attend classes, all the classes, not my class alone. We have all the other classes that you need to attend. You need to attend 75% of those classes. Failure to that, you'll have to repeat the whole semester next semester. So today I want us to start with the introduction to community health. And before we go to the community health itself, we have to understand some concepts here and there. And we'll start with the definition of community health. And this is a science that deals with prevention of diseases, promotion of health, and prolonging of life. I've not said any part on treatment of diseases, because community health is more of preventing, promoting the health of and lifestyle of people, as well as promoting prolonging the shelf life, not the shelf life, sorry, the lifespan of the people. So once you promote the health of the people, of an individual, once you promote the quality of life of that individual, once you prevent that individual from having diseases, then the individual will not have diseases, and his lifespan or her lifespan will prolong. The aim of community health is to generate organized community effort to address public health problems and needs. When it comes to community health, you empower the community. It's not like a doctor, because a doctor deals with part of the community who are sick. But as for you, you're dealing with all the community members. So the community members will be empowered in order for them to be equipped in a way that they will prevent themselves from getting the diseases. They will live a quality life and thus have a longer life on earth. And in order to be able to prevent diseases and improve the health of the community, we need to understand how it is organized and a community is organized as individuals, then the individuals form families, and then the family form the larger community. So we start with individuals, go to families, and then we'll go to the community itself. So who is an individual? An individual is a unique character. So each and every person is unique in his own way. But due to the interaction with other individuals in the community, they form a culture. They form a particular way of living. So this culture is all things which people learn, share, and pass to other generations. So people will share, you will share the characters with your neighbor, then you learn the characters from the neighbor, and the neighbor will learn your characters, and by that you share, and then you'll pass those characters to your generations, or those way of living to your generations. Then one of the most important of these things, or this culture, is language. And for a community health to be able to help a community health officer to be able to help a community, you need to understand how people speak, or the language the people or the community you serve speak. For example, you can be sent to Garissa. You have to understand their language for you to be able to help them. If you go to another country, you need to understand their culture. You also need to understand specifically their language for you to be able to help them. Then, I see you've joined, so welcome. Then we have, I can just go back. So I was saying, make sure that you'll be attending classes, because 75% you'll not be able to sit equate to repeating the whole semester. So make sure that you attend classes, and make sure that you attend 75% of all the classes that you need to attend for you to be able to sit for the semester exam. So I'm in the introduction to community health, and we need to first understand some concepts here and there for us to be able to go ahead with the community health unit. So I'll start with the definition of community health. And community health is a science that deals with prevention of diseases, promotion of health, as well as prolonging of life. When you prevent people from getting diseases, when you help people to live a quality life, away from drugs, away from junks or unhealthy foods, you'll be able to prevent the diseases from getting to the people, as well as you'll be able to prolong the shelf life of the people. And community health is generated to empower the community, and once the community is empowered, they will be able to protect themselves from getting the disease or from getting issues that might come later in life. So it leads more on empowering the community. And once the community is empowered, the community will live a healthy life, and hence stay for long, or their lifespan will be prolonged. Then in order for the community to prevent diseases, in order to help the community prevent diseases and improve the health, we need to understand how it is organized. And a community is organized as an individual, as a family, and then we have the larger community. We start with an individual, then individuals forms families, then families forms the larger community. So we start with individuals, and I said an individual is a unique character. Each individual is unique in his own way or in her own way, but due to sharing or due to living together with other individuals, they end up sharing characteristics with other people. And these characteristics form culture. So culture is a way of living of people. How do people live? And this includes speak to each other, that is the language. How do the people relate to each other? So this culture is all those things that people learn, they share and pass to other generations. So when people live together, they learn different characters from each other, then they will characteristics from each other, then they will share their characteristics, and then due to all these, they will pass those characters that have been learned or improved to their generations. Then for you to, as a community health officer, to be able to live among other people and also to be able to help them, for example, they don't belong to your culture, you need to learn their culture and specifically be able to speak the language they speak. So you need to learn the language, and language forms part of the culture. So language is an important part of culture. So you need to understand the language of the people, and for you to be able to understand, for you to be able to also help them. Then I'll go to another unit of community, that is the family. And a family is the fundamental unit of society, is the basic unit of a society. And for a family to be there, the family can be through related by blood, they can also be related by marriage, they can also be related by adoption. And residing together or in close geographical proximity, experiencing common emotional bonds. So a family, it's a group of people. It can be one or more. I hope you can be able to listen. You can text in the chat box if you're not what I'm saying. So I hope you're hearing and we're not having any, or you can just text me. Connection, I hope you're not having any connection hiccups. So family is two or more people that are related by either blood, by either marriage or adoption, that live together and share a common bond or emotional bond. Then we can also define family using some approaches, and we start with the biological approach. So the previous one was a general definition, but you can still define a family using these approaches. You can use biological approach, and this is a unit with biological functions, e.g. reproduction, perpetuating species. So a family can be viewed in a biological approach way, such that a family is made up of people that are reproduced from the same family line. Then another approach is psychological approach, and this is a basic unit that influences personality development, and members give emotional and psychological support to each other. Once you have, for example, a family, or once you have some issues in your family, the family members are the first one to shield you from those issues or to support you. A family is a support system when it comes to emotional, when it comes to psychological support, as well as personality development and all that. Then economic approach. Members contribute to economic performance of the family in order to improve the standard of living. Or you can just say means of production as well as division of labor. In a family, the father is supposed to provide some certain things. The mother is also supposed to provide in another way. So this provision of labor or division of labor, in order the family to exist, or in the standard, or for the standard of living to be improved in a family, all the family members that maybe are mature need to contribute in order for the whole family to stay a good living. If you're working, you need, for example, to be helping your mom because you're related to your mom through the family, through the because you belong to the family that your mom belongs to. If you're rich and your cousin have a problem, you're obligated to help the cousin because the cousin belongs to your family. So by that, you can view a family through economical approach. Then you can also view a family as a system, and a family can also be described as a living social system with a small group of interrelated, interdependent individuals who are organized in a single unit. Each and every person is dependent on each other in a family. That's why I'm saying they are interrelated and interdependent. You depend on the other person of the family. For example, if the father is not responsible, definitely that family will not stay a good life, or maybe even the family will break up. If the mother is not responsible, if the mother is drunk, comes home late or drunk, the family definitely will not be a full family and might even break up in time. Yes, so it's a system that involves people that are interrelated to each other and interdependent. Each and every person depend on each other. So the system and its part have structural and functional components. So the structure refers to the arrangement and organization of the characteristics of the individual members who comprise the family, e.g. the age, the gender, the number of individuals in the family. Then the function refers to the purpose of or the goals of the family. So this system or this family system need to have these two. It have to be structural, it have to have structural components as well as functional components. The structural components, this includes things like characteristics of the family, which includes the age of the family members, the gender of the family members, the number of individuals in the family. Then for the functional component, it refers to the goals and the purpose of the family. So for a system to exist, or for this family to exist, it have to have these two. Then taking time to load to the next slide, so just wait. So those are the approaches that we can view the family through. We can treat the family as a biological entity, emotional entity. You can also view the family as an economical entity as well as a system. Then we have a continuation of the family as a system. So a family is an open system. In an open system, the family tend to exchange material resources and information with the environment. The family constantly interact with physical, social, and cultural environment. A family functionality is therefore affected by what is happening in the society. So once the family is open, they will be able to interact with what is happening in the society. They will be able to interact with the environment. They will improve the environment, or they can even destroy the environment or what is surrounding the family. Then, by interacting with the environment can be physical environment. Physical environment includes the vegetation around the environment, the resources around the environment, that is vital, like things like the liver, the physical environment. Then the social environment includes the society. How do the family relate with the society? How do the family relate with the culture of the surrounding society? So that's how a family as an open system interact with both the physical, the social, as well as the cultural environment that surround it. Let's see, wait for it to load. Then let's see the characteristics. We are done with how we can view a family as. I'll just repeat because I don't want to leave you behind. We can view a family through a biological approach, psychological approach, the economical approach. We can also view a family as a system, and this system can either be open or closed. An open system, and remember, this system have to have a structure. Definitely it have a structural component, because people in a family are different when it comes to ages, are different when it comes to gender, are also different when it comes to the number of families. Then another component is the function refers to the purpose or goals of the family. What is the goals of this family? What is the purpose of this family? And this purpose or the goal of this family will either make a family open or closed. When the family is open, they will be able to interact with the environment. When it comes to physical environment, that is the physical resources that surround the environment or the family, as well as the people or the society surrounding the family. There's some certain, especially the rural areas or even the urban areas, there's some certain families that do not interact well with the society that surround that family. There's some families that normally interact very well with the surrounding society. So all this interaction will affect the family in one way or another, depending on how they're interacting. Then when it comes to open families, they view people, these are the characteristics of an open family. They view people as good and consult them. That's an open family. They are open to other people's view. Then perceives changes as normal and conforms to them. They are not rigid. They are not resistant. They do change. Depending on how they're interacting with the society, they change in one way or another. For example, if a family moves from rural areas to the urban area, there's some certain families that do not change, but there's some certain families that are open to change depending on how they're interacting with their neighbors. Then it takes the initiative of mobilizing new resources to solve their problems. Because they're open, they will be able to mobilize new resources surrounding them in order to solve the problems they're having. For example, A family which is open, if someone gets sick, they'll be able to look for help and solve their problem. Then they reach out to the larger community, hence interactively, extensively. They are able to interact with the larger community well. Then they have creative solutions to their problems. Remember, they are open-minded here. So they will have to create, or they will be able to create new ideas and new solutions to their problems. Then another characteristic is that they welcome new ideas, information, and techniques. They're open-minded, they're open to change, they're open to look for resources, to look for new ideas to solve solutions, or to solve problems or new solutions, to solve various problems they face each and every day. What about a closed family? Let's see. It's taking time to load. Yes, what about a closed family? So in a closed family, they view change as a threat and are resistant to change. They never change. If, for example, a family, the mother and the father belongs to a certain religion that wear a turban and long dresses, they will never change. They will never change the way of even what they eat, because they believe what they eat, how they wear, the language they talk is the best, and they see change as a threat to them. Then they perceive people as evil and not to be trusted. They are always suspicious. A close family, since they are not open to new views or new ideas, they perceive people as very evil. That's they will not interact with them well, because they are always suspicious that these people will harm them in one way or another. Then they believe that people should be under strict control. So they believe that the family members or the kids need to be strictly under control. Otherwise, they will erupt or change their behavior to bad behavior. Then they are rigid in their activities. If, for example, a certain activity need to be done in these steps, they will never change because they are very rigid. Then they can be described as locked doors and careful scrutinize strangers. They are advocates of privacy and secretiveness. They are very secretive. They are very private when it comes to their own issues. They never share issues. Even if the mother is being beaten by the father each and every day, they will never tell their neighbors, because they believe that once they tell their neighbors are evil and they will come and destroy their family. If the mother or if the father is very rude, they will never share that with their family members or their neighbors. So those are the characteristics of both the closed and open family. Remember, a family is a system that needs to interact with the entire community, entire physical environment, entire social environment, entire cultural environment. And for a family to excel, it needs to be open, or the system needs to be open in order for them to excel in life. So those are the characteristics of either closed or open family. Remember, we are still under family. Then let's see the role of family in preventing illnesses. So as a basic unit of the society, the family represents the cornerstone of the community health. The family provides children with basic education in language, beliefs, and customs, in addition to food, clothing, and shelter. Within the family, you can find both the causes and solution of the health problems. Remember, the family is the thing that once a child is born, we'll find. So the child will learn basic language from the mother. They learn how do this food or how do we cook food, what type of food do we eat during the morning hours, during lunchtime, during snack, during whatever time. How do we do things? How do we interrelate with other people? What is our culture? What do we believe in? Do we have food taboos in our family? So all this will be found in a family. Then the family is responsible to provide food. So if you give your child ugali each and every day, that's what they will eat each and every day. If you're very unhygienic, definitely your child will be exposed to what you practice. All the things that you expose your child, you're the one that is responsible, because the child is very innocent, don't know what is good or bad. How you shelter your child, how you clothe your child when it comes to bad weather or even cold or hot weather. So all this will be exposed to a child, will be responsible or responsibility of the family. So within the family, that's when you can find the cause of a problem, and also that's how, or that's the channel that you'll also use to provide solutions to the problems they are facing. So the family, as I said, is a basic unit in a community, because once you educate one family, once you get all the families in a community, the entire community will be healthy, will live a quality life, will live a more healthy life, and by that, the quality of life of all the families in the community will be better. Then let's see the roles of a family. What are the functions of a family in a society? Number one is prevention of infection. Sorry, the role of a family, I forgot to add here, the role of a family in community health. So number one is prevention of infections. How do we prevent infections? Through environmental sanitation, make sure that the environment is very clean, provision of safe water, provision of proper housing, utilization of immunization services. The mother or the family or even the father is the one that is responsible to take the child to the clinics for injections or immunization services. When it comes to vaccinations, you'll find some family members hiding their children because they don't want their children to be given polio vaccine, they don't want their children to be given measles vaccines. And remember, the family is the one that is responsible for the prevention of infection. So it is the responsibility of a family to make sure that their family members, that their children, together with themselves, they have a clean environment, they have safe water for drinking, they have a proper housing, they're able to utilize all the services the government is giving out. Then we have good nutrition. It is the role of a family to make sure that whatever food that is being eaten in that family is of good, is nutritious. It is the role of a family to look for gardens or to look even for farms to farm in order to feed the family, or if they do not have a farm, for example, in the urban areas, they look for activities that generate income, and then they can use that income to provide good nutrition or good food or good diet. Then another role is utilization of health services, that is immunization, seeking medical attentions in case of a sick member. So it's the work of a family, or it's the role of a family to make sure that they utilize the health services. If you get sick, the family members will take you to the hospital. If you need some immunization when it comes to children, it's the work of the family to make sure that the child is immunized. Then we have the health education as another role. So new ideas and knowledge disseminated and shared among family members. So it's still the role of the family to disseminate ideas when it comes to health. Then another function is psychological support. It's the work of the family to offer support system when it comes to emotional matters, when it comes to breakups from boyfriends. It's the role of a family to give you that role support or support system. When it comes to psychological issues, if you're depressed, if you're under stress, it's the role of family to act as a support system to help you overcome all that you're going through. So let me see whether it will load to another slide. It's really taking time to load to another slide. Just a minute for it to yes, we are done with the family. We are done with how do we define family when it comes to when we are dealing with it biologically, when we are approaching it in a biological point of view, psychological point of view, economic point of view, as a system point of view. Then what is an open system as a family? How is a closed family characteristics, or what are the characteristics of a closed family? Then we need to look at the functions of a family when it comes to community health. The family is responsible for prevention, to offer health education, to offer good nutrition, to offer psychological support, and all those functions. Then I said an individual or two individuals coming through blood, connecting to each other through blood, through adoption, through marriage, forms a family. Then a family that stays in a place or in a certain place, such as a village, such as an estate, and who have a common interest in what happens there, forms a community. For example, you can say ZTEC is a community because when it comes to ZTEC, individuals or individuals in ZTEC that are related to ZTEC have a common interest, that is learning. And they interact with each other with a common goal of learning. So a community is a group of people who live in a particular space, such as a village, and who have a common interest in what happens in that village or in that estate or even in that area. Yes. Doesn't even necessarily means that you need to live in the same area. For example, in ZTEC, we have ZTEC in Roiro campus, ZTEC in town campus. Those two forms a community because they have a common goal. So the characteristics of a community is that they must have a common interest and goals. They must live in a geographical area, one geographical area. Another one is that they share some resources such as water, health services. It can also be educational services. It can also be all these services. Yeah, then we have common beliefs. They have common beliefs, they have common values, they practice common norms and traditions. In each and every community, they have some beliefs, they have some values that they value, they have some practices, they have some norms, they have some traditions that they normally share. Then they interact and interrelate with one another. They have to be interdependent. No one is independent in a community. You have to interact with others, you have to relate with others in the community because you are interdependent. Then they have a common leadership structure, that is social institutions. They must have a leader. They must have a common leader. They must have, for example, a chief who is instructing them or who is the source of leadership. They must have a person who is at least higher than the rest of the family when it comes to leadership structure. Those are the characteristics of a community. They must share a goal. They have to live. They can live in one area. They interact with each other. They depend on each other. So community can be divided in subsystems, and it's made up of a number of these essential subsystems, and these subsystems interact and interrelate continuously to bring about the overall function of the community. So one system will interact. It's like a human being. A human being is made up of systems. You have cardiovascular system, you have reproductive system, you have skeletal system, you have the muscular system. All these systems must interact with each other for the whole human being to function normally. If your cardiovascular system is not working well, you will not be a full human being, because these systems in a community have to interact well. So these systems also influence the health status of the people. So these systems, in one way or another, as you're going to see, one by one, will interact, and by interaction, will definitely influence the health of the entire community. So a minute, please. Continue. This session is recorded. You can still view it later on your own time. So I was talking on subsystem, and I was saying that this subsystem normally interact with each other, and for the whole for the whole community to have a purpose, this social system have to, not a purpose, to function well. This social system have to interact well with each other. So this social system includes socio-cultural. The first one is socio-cultural system, and this system influences the lifestyle of the community members, their priorities, their attitudes and values towards health and illnesses. So this system will involve the cultural practices of the community, as well as how do this community relate to each other. That is its social. That is the social aspect of the community, and how they interact with each other, and how they share their culture with each other. This will influence the lifestyle of the community members. How do these community members live? What is its main source of living or economic activity? What is the priorities of this family or this community members in this community? What is their attitudes towards various aspects of life? And how do they value health and illness? Maybe the culture normally tells them when someone is sick, maybe the person is cursed, or maybe that person is bewitched by a witch doctor. And when they have such ideas in their minds, definitely they will not go to the hospitals, because maybe they even believe that once a person goes to the hospital and they're bewitched, they will die. So by that, this will also influence how they value their health and illnesses. For example, if they value or their priorities when it comes to family is that once a child reaches 14 years, once a girl reaches 14 years, they are ready for marriage. Marriage becomes a priority for them and not education. So definitely that will also affect the health of that community. When it comes to the lifestyle of that community, are they nomads? Are they farmers? Are they fishermen? All this will also influence directly or indirectly their health in one way or another. or how they live, or the quality of living they have in that family. It's taking ages to load. Another subsystem is political system or the leadership. This is the system that has the responsibility of providing leadership in the development of health and health-related laws and policies. When it comes to a community that is governed by poor leadership, definitely when it comes to laws and policies that deals with health, they will be very poor, and definitely that will affect the entire community. If you have a government that deals more on improving other things other than improving the health of the community, if you have a government that focuses more on building roads, that focuses more on building things that do not directly affect the health of the community, if the hospitals are very poor, the doctors there are very underpaid, or they are very overworked, definitely the health system will be affected, and this health system is being affected directly by the political influence of that community. Another system is economic system, and the government's ability to provide health and other services to its citizens depends on the state of the economy. So the poorer the economy, the more disadvantaged the people will be. Low economic status is a leading cause of malnutrition and communicable diseases. When it comes to a place or a community that lives in a very poor conditions, that when it comes to economical status, the members of the community have low incomes, have low economic status, definitely the entire community will be affected in one way or another, since money talks, or money says what you will eat, money says where you go to look for health services, money says what type of housing you have. So all this economic system, or this economic system in one way or another, will affect the health of the community. If the society is very poor, if the society in a community is very poor, if the government governing a community is very poor, definitely this will affect the health status. So I was saying on the economic system. So the economic system will also dictate how the community health is, because money will say the type of hospitals will be there, the types of hospital that the community will have, or the types of health services that the community will be able to access. The type of hospitals in a place, the type of health services that these people will be able to access will be dictated by the economic system of the society. So this society will be dictated. Now, the health system or the health of the society will be affected in one way or another, either positively or negatively, by these subsystems. When it comes to economic system, when it comes to socio-cultural system, when it comes to the education system, that is number 4. The education is the main tool of changing behavior and improving individuals and community health. Low educational status perpetuates underdevelopment, were harmful traditions and superstitions. So if a community is well educated, they'll be able to overcome beliefs that comes with the cultural systems. They'll be able to outgrow them because they've not much belief in them. So by that, it improves the individual's health by changing the behavior. Once you're educated, you know that these types of food give me this type of nutrient. This type of food give me this type of nutrient. This type of food do not give me these types of nutrient. And by that, you'll be able to change your behavior or change the way of your diet. And by that, you're improving your health.
You are currently the
And
only
also,
person in this conference.
education will also help you. Education will also help you know some um, some uh, some some beliefs that affect you negatively. Then when it comes to the religious system,
You are currently the only person in this conference.
kitu sound imeenda. Manta hapo kuna network. Hii kitu sound imepotea kabisa. Lesson inaendelea.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Hii saundi ya hii kitu imeenda. Nagetano.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Yawa, lazima mpige tu kelele.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are You are currently the only person in this conference.
Yes, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me? Check your either your microphone or your earphones. Specifically your earphones, because I've tested mine and they're working. Did you test
I'm not.
whether you can hear them? You can hear your voice before you, or you can just rejoin. Close and then you rejoin again, and make sure that you test whether your microphone is working or not, or your earphones are working or not. By maybe saying something when you're testing, you'll be able to hear your voice when you're testing. Mareb,
Yes.
you able to hear me now? Rejoin again. Close it and then maybe you can rejoin. Because from my end, everything seems okay.
I'm
Yes? You're good now?
not hearing. Yeah.
You're not hearing anything? What about of now? Are you hearing now? Yes?
Hearing.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.